Strike from the shadows with the Omega Sector Omnic Delia. What's up guys, I'm BTC. Today I want to show you a brand new, fully playable character concept design for Overwatch 2. Yes, you heard that right. This character is fully playable right now for PC and console in the workshop. The code also implements all of the known Overwatch 2 changes, and it will be updated in the future, so make sure if you want to play it to import the code to always have the latest version. And a big thanks to Magic Man for helping with all of this. Now, I'm going to explain how all of Delia's abilities work, but first, let me give you a quick look at what Delia can do. Delia is very fun to play and can do a lot of really cool things. But don't worry, I've built in plenty of counterplay options for the enemy as well. In addition to the workshop code, I also did something that's been highly requested ever since I started making character concepts, and that is multiple versions of the character artwork. Think of the first simple one as being the default character skin, and the second, more detailed version can be considered a legendary skin. Also, quick announcement, later tonight I'll be live streaming on YouTube custom matches with Delia, and since crossplay has now been enabled, anyone, PC or console, will be welcome to come and join me in-game and try out the new character. For Delia, the hero creation method I used was to create an interesting ability and build the hero around that. In this case, it's going to be her ultimate, piercing rounds. The goals for Delia were to create a DPS that can attack through walls, an ultimate that is impactful but not an instant team wipe. I want to get away from the press Q to win type situations. And the third thing is to introduce new mechanics, and with Delia, there are two new things, which are improved stealth and a decaying slow. One of the biggest strengths the Omnics had during the war was the ability to mass-produce combat units. This allowed the Omnics to quickly replenish any that were destroyed on the battlefield. Overwhelming numbers were often enough to secure victories, but there was also a clear flaw in producing the same few unit types. The strategy had almost no adaptability. Far too late into the first Omnic crisis, the Omnics realized that specialized units were going to be necessary, and a secret base near Greece was built. These specialized Omnics were given names as opposed to model numbers to distinguish them. Some of these were Ares, Cerdin, Ardal, and Delia. By the end of the war, only a few had been completed. Some were left inactive, while others went into hiding, waiting for the day they would be needed again. All except Delia. Female Omnics certainly weren't rare, but were far less common than male counterparts. In this situation, a smaller, slimmer frame was needed, and the Omnics had discovered that humans tended to be more trusting towards Omnics that appeared female. This combination best suited Delia's original purpose, a hunter. Unlike the larger, more durable Omnics, Delia had been specifically designed to slip into locations unnoticed and then capture or kill high-value targets. With the war over, this set of skills had very limited use in a peaceful world. However, there were still those willing to make use of Delia's skills, and although not legal, it was very profitable. For years in public, Delia was a wealthy debutante living in luxury and extravagance. In secret, she was a rogue agent whose skills were available to the highest bidder, with loyalty to no one but herself. That abruptly ended when she received a request marked with an Omega symbol. For her primary attack, Delia uses a pair of impact pistols. Type is hit scan, damage is 55, it can critical, the rate of fire is 1 per 0.45 seconds, spread angle is pinpoint, fall off range is 20 to 40 meters, ammo is 8, and reload time is 1.5 seconds. Side note, in game you'll notice it says 16 ammo, you can just ignore that because Tracer's attack uses 2. Delia's first ability is the High Value Target Mark, or HVT. Type is a debuff, it does no damage, the range is 35 meters, duration is until cancelled, it has no cooldown, and the effect is that it will place a mark on an enemy that grants vision to Delia. Similar to Sombra's passive that allows her to see weakened enemies through the walls, the HVT allows Delia to track one enemy no matter where they go on the map. An enemy player will know that they're under the effect of an HVT when an icon appears above their health bar. Delia's next ability is the Restricting Spike. Type is a projectile slow, damage is 25, it cannot critical, the projectile speed is 85 meters per second, duration is 3.5 seconds, cooldown is 8 seconds, and the effect is a decaying slow that starts at 85%. A decaying slow functions the reverse of how a normal slow would work. It starts as a high value and then quickly drops off. I designed this ability for Delia prior to Blizzard announcing they were making changes to CC for Overwatch 2. However, they've also said that they're completely fine with Ana's sleep because it's a projectile that requires the player to aim, and because this is very similar, I felt that it was okay to leave it on Delia. Delia's next ability is the Cloak Field. Type is an AoE buff, range 10 meters, duration 4 seconds, cooldown 12 seconds, area of effect is 6 meters. The effect is that Delia and allies are invisible while inside the field. Players do not flicker when taking damage inside the field. This is a status effect known as Improved Invisibility. While this ability might initially appear to be too powerful, there are counterplay measures built into it. Whenever the ability is used, there is a very clear visual and sound effect notifying the enemy players. Additionally, there's also a small delay before the Improved Invisibility takes effect. What this ability effectively does is makes it more difficult for the enemy players to land accurate hits and criticals, thus reducing the total damage that players will take while they're inside the cloak field. However, it should be noted that any hits they do take will deal full damage. Delia's passive is called Satisfied Customer. The effect is that eliminations reduce the time for the next reload by 0.5 seconds. These are always automatically applied, and the maximum you can have is 3 eliminations, which will make the next reload instant. Delia's ultimate is called Piercing Rounds. The voice line is, "You can run." The ultimate type is Transform, the attack type is Hit Scan, the damage is 90, it cannot critical, the rate of fire is 1 per 0.45 seconds, spread angle is pinpoint, fall off range is none, the ammo is 6 with no option to reload, duration is 8 seconds, cast time is 1 second, charge requirement is 1500. The effect is that attacks go through walls, barriers, and players, and it will also apply a 50% anti-heal to the target for 4 seconds. Just like with Genji or Torbjorn, this changes your attack to something new. This new attack is capable of going through any number of walls and barriers and will damage every player that it passes through. And while it is possible to hit a player on the complete opposite side of the map, because the target is going to be so small, unless they're standing still, it's very unlikely that you're actually going to hit them. Because this ultimate can go through walls and pairs so well with HVT, there's a built-in counterplay measure that the enemies can see. Whenever Delia activates her ultimate, there will be a beam showing exactly where she is aiming, and if you see that beam, you can try to avoid it as best you can. I really like how Delia came out. The workshop mode functions great. If you want to give that a try, again, the code is on the screen. And just remember to import it whenever you want to play, so that way you have the latest version. Again, I will be live streaming later on tonight if you want to come by and play some of the matches with me. If you have any questions about Delia, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And speaking of, Delia is number 14 for the hero concepts that I've created, and I have a bunch more coming soon. As much as I would like to put them all into one workshop code, it's simply not possible, as the workshop servers just can't handle it. However, some of the characters that I've already made will be getting their own workshop code, so keep an eye out for that. And if you want to learn more about any of the other character concepts I've made, check out the links down below. And lastly, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button because it really helps out. Thanks for watching. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.